Falcons.
The hottest debates.
He's the all-time leading scorer, a 4-time MVP. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player ever, not MJ.
Yeah, greatest losing in the finals, maybe.
And some of the top interviews in sports radio.
Super Bowl champion, Brad Johnson.
This is Joe Urso, 5-time national champion head baseball coach for the University of Tampa.
This is 5-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is President Brendan Kelly. You're listening to Sports Pack.
You know what time it is. Wolves country.
Let's ride.
It's a bitter-sweet sports pack, folks. The first sports pack before spring break, which means we'll be off all week. I mean, that's one whole week without your sports director, Brennan Willoughby Ray, your assistant sports director, Gianna Wilcox, your production director, Gavin Ellis, Richard, Carly, the whole crew. But you know what's sweet about it, John?
What is it?
First thing that's sweet is you're joining Sports Pack tonight.
Yeah!
The second thing that's sweet is we got Jackson Schrader, 2/3 of Triple Threat will be on Sports Pack tonight, going crazy. And you know what else is sweet? Dine West. Remember, you can always reload and continue grabbing your favorites from Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. Call the Wolves card office at 678-839-6525 or stop by their office in the UCC. Now, we have a jam-packed show for y'all. As usual, we're getting into NFL free agency. We're getting into college basketball, NBA. Take it or leave it. The brand new segment y'all loved on Monday, well, it's back. But y'all know how we have to kick things off.
West Georgia dials up a 29-yard score on 4th and 6.
D1, baby. Go Wolves.
We were out at the Coliseum today cheering on our West Georgia Wolves as they boarded the bus and they headed down to South Beach, baby. Well, not technically Miami, but they're going to Fort Lauderdale. It's close enough. They're going to the Division II NCAA tournament. They're going to March Madness, and they are facing off against a big rival. And probably the last time they'll ever play that rival, Lee, the 7-seed Wolves. The 2-seed, a huge showdown on Saturday. What are we thinking, John?
Man, oh my goodness. I am super excited, man. I want this Lee team gone in that first round because last time I played them, we lost. We had some struggles, not scoring within the last 3 minutes. This got to be a good revenge game because we are trying to take home the gold and get that championship. So we need to wipe out our competition, show them, say, hey, we're here to play, and I don't care what's going to happen. We're going to win this thing. Championship or bust, that's all I believe right there.
Yeah, those are great words right there. But I'm glad you mentioned, well, not really glad you mentioned, but it's nice that you mentioned the last time we played Lee because you're right. We did lose. It was a tough loss. We lost 58-57. Now, that might sound close, but they outscored us in the second half. 41-28, which is just unacceptable for our Wolves. We know they can do better. They know they can do better. So hopefully they will come out of the gate with rolling punches, ready to take this win. Because I want us to keep going. I want us to go all the way, like you said, John. Championship or bust.
Absolutely, definitely championship or bust. And when we went to the send off today, the players were happy to see us. Obviously, they were excited that we were there to support them, but they were locked in.
Oh, of course.
And they didn't really show much, expression in a sense. And some may say, oh, they just didn't want you there. No, they love our support. I know that. I mean, they've came out and said it. Coach Moore's came out and said it. But they're locked in. They know that this is the best chance that they're going to have at winning a national championship, literally for years. Because when we go to D1, there's a playoff ban. We're not going to be able to get to that point. So this is kind of like the end-all, be-all for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully we keep a lot of them in the offseason, but that's another conversation. But yeah, Coach Moore took the mic today. He started talking to us, saying that he wants to bring back a region championship and then move on to the next round and hopefully go on for a national championship. And I seriously think that if we're going to do it, it's this year, no matter what. It has to be.
Oh, you're exactly right. Because this team, they work so well together. They gel well. They're really a team. They play team ball. No one's really selfish. I know we're always talking about Zadi, but everyone's a team player. And y'all are right. If it's going to be any team, it's going to be this one.
Look, man, that's the thing. Zadi, when we interviewed him, one of the first things he said, the reason we're great is the team. The reason we're great is the 8th or 9th guy on the bench, right? This team plays collective, team, family-style basketball. I love it. I think this team, the sky is still the limit. Yes, we accomplished what we set out to do. We won the GSC championship. We won the GSC tournament. Those guys are not only getting 1 ring for the regular season, but they're getting a 2nd ring for the tournament. But guess what? I don't think it stops there. I think this team wants a regional championship. The only way we're going to get a regional championship is winning these next 3 ball games. We do that, we get a 3rd ring. And guess what? If we win the regional championship, we go to the Elite 8. If we win in our Elite 8 matchup, we win our Final 4 matchup, we go to the national championship. And we're playing for a 4th ring. I believe Dave Moore is the greatest coach to ever grace this university. I believe Zonnie Jackson is the greatest athlete, scratch that, the greatest student to ever grace this university.
Whoa.
Hey now.
Hold on now.
To bottom, this basketball team is not only a team of Carrollton, Georgia, the city of dreams, but they are a team of destiny.
Take a breath.
I want everyone to stand up with me.
Oh, no.
All right.
West Georgia will not stop until they win a national championship. This season is not over. Yes, we accomplished what we set out to do. This is just icing on the cake. And guess what? We like a lot of icing.
Okay, then.
Icing.
All right.
West Georgia is going all the way. Wolf Sports Network will support them all the way. And Wolves Nation, if you're fired up right now, I need you to spend $10 on the game on Saturday. Watch it on your TV, watch it on your tablet, watch it on your cell phone. I don't care how you watch it. I need Wolves Nation to stand up, be proud, and support the greatest team in the history of this school. Go West! Go Wolves!
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing the dynasty.
Now, the only thing more exciting than chasing a dynasty is going to Wolfstock Thursday, April 4th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom. It's going to have performances by Dark Souls Thug. If you went last year, you know how crazy he got. Jay Pruitt, Kamal Saucier, Collar, EXO, and Lumina. Wolfstock 2024 is brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, Osier Apparel, American Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions. Now, just today, we know this free agency period's been crazy, right? I mean,
Absolutely
since
insane.
we've been on air, Derrick Henry going to the Ravens, which I hate, but my Steelers landing Patrick Queen, incredible. Calvin Ridley getting a bag, being $100 million man darn near for the Tennessee Titans.
Crazy.
But today there's been some pretty big quarterback splashes. So the hometown Atlanta Falcons sending Desmond Ridder to the Arizona Cardinals.
Bye-bye.
But you got a really good return. Rondale Moore as solid wide receiver 3. The wide receiver help the Falcons desperately needed. Now with Darnell Mooney, you're looking at a good wide receiver 2. You have, in my opinion, a dynamic duo in Kyle Pitts and Drake London. And you got a top 5, 7, 8 quarterback throwing them the ball. So things are looking great. But that was not the only quarterback move to rock the NFL today. The Seahawks received Sam Howell, a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick from the Commanders for a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. And that's big because you're giving up, I know you're getting the 4th rounder, you're getting the 6th rounder, but anytime you're trading the 3rd pick, you might think, oh, 3rd rounder, not that big of a deal. That's the 78th overall pick. When you're picking in the 70s, there's a lot of good players there. So there's some people in Seattle's front office that for some reason believe heavily in Sam Howell. Now, John, I'm going to throw it to you first. What do you make of the quarterback dominoes falling today?
Well, I kind of was a little shocked when we traded Desmond Ridder because I thought we may have, kind of left him there to kind of watch behind Kirk and learn a little bit. But then I realized he's worth a basket of cookies, as I was saying earlier. So kind of glad we got rid of him now. And Rondale Moore is definitely a good piece to have for another wide receiver. I think we also signed another wide receiver as well. And then Sam Howell going to the Seahawks, I just don't know what to think of it because I can't really see much from Sam Howell. I mean, it's gonna help the Seahawks no matter what. But it also kind of makes me a little scared for the Falcons going back to it is we're under investigation for tampering. So I'm a little nervous. I don't think we'll have anything too big happen to us, but still, it's something to kind of look at for.
I mean, we can get into that tamper conversation a little bit later if we have time, but really looking at Sam Howell to the Seahawks, it's not so much how does this affect him, it's how does this affect the Seahawks, how does this affect their draft? Because a lot of people, including me, prior to this trade, 100% believed that Michael Penix was going to be a Seattle Seahawk after this year's draft, but that may be different now. I don't know what this move is supposed to kind of show everyone. Is it supposed to say, hey, we believe in Sam Howell, we seriously think he's our guy? Or is it going to be a quarterback battle, a three-headed quarterback battle between Geno, Sam Howell, and whoever they draft? Or at the same time, are they going to completely just leave Sam Howell in the dark and let Geno start and not draft a quarterback? There's really no telling now. But before this move, we all kind of thought Michael Penix is going to go to Seattle. They'd battle it out. Michael Penix would probably win the job, and he'd start for the Seahawks. So this changes a lot. And what else this also changes is the Justin Fields conversation, because, after Kirk came to Atlanta, all eyes were on Justin Fields even more. Everyone was already talking about it, but the people that weren't hopped on the train and said, well, where is Fields going to go now? There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, but there's also a lot of quarterbacks that are already slated to go to those teams. They're already kind of predicted to go to those teams. But Washington getting rid of Sam Howell shows that, yes, they are in the market for a new quarterback. They have that number 2 overall pick, and a lot of people believe that it's going to be Drake May that goes to the Commanders. But some people I've been reading think, hey, Justin Fields might make a splash and go to Washington and get a bag, and Washington will either trade down from that number 2 pick or use that number 2 pick on maybe Marvin Harrison if he's available. Imagine Scary Terry McLaurin and Marvin Harrison on the Commanders.
Lethal.
Justin Fields in that offense, and they just loaded up their defense. I mean, it's a possibility, and I wouldn't hate to see it. But at the same time, are they willing to, take a risk on Justin Fields like the Falcons were? Are they willing to take a look at this guy who hasn't had that much success? Granted, he hasn't had the greatest team or the greatest organization that he's been involved with, but is Washington willing to take a risk, pay him some money maybe, and say, yeah, we believe in you for the next 4 or 5 years. If we can draft Marvin Harrison, get you some weapons, and a new offensive coordinator that isn't going to hate you, then maybe you'll have some success, and maybe Washington might make a splash and get to the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in real quick. You kind of answered a few questions I was going to pose to the table. But first, going back to the Falcons thing and the wide receiver, I think any weapons we can give Kirk Cousins will be good for this team. I think giving him so many options will be good. Let me rephrase that. Hopefully we won't have just one person that he goes to, because that'll make it easier for opposing defenses to defend us. But any more options that he can have is always a good thing. And with the whole Seahawks and Sam Howell, what kind of message does that send to Geno Smith right now? And what kind of message does that send to Geno and Sam Howell if they end up drafting another quarterback? Yes, I think the competitive aspect, trying to see who wants the best, might be good for your team. But what kind of message does that send to your quarterbacks that you already have?
I mean, I think if I'm in Seattle's front office, right? I mean, they just got the new head coach. What was it? Mike McDonald is his name, right? Yeah. Came from Baltimore, and he's young. He's very aggressive. He wants to get in there and automatically build a team that can win, right? Because that's what Seattle's been wanting ever since Russ left. I think that him and Geno have definitely had a lot of conversations and said, hey, Geno, this is not going to be your year. We're taking a step back from you. This is what I'd say.
Okay.
Say, we're taking a step back from you, but we still want you here. You're a great presence on the team. You're a great teammate. You know a lot about football. You know a lot about how to carry yourself on the field. You know a lot about comeback stories. You know a lot about how to grind it out, and that's the type of attitude that we want on this team. And I think bringing Sam Howell in was just a guy just to give a quarterback battle to whoever they draft. That's seriously what I think is going to happen. I think that Sam Howell, and let's say Michael Penix gets drafted still by the Seattle Seahawks, him and Howell are going to battle it out. Michael Penix is probably going to win the job, and Geno's probably going to mentor him the rest of the year. Okay. Sam Howell's going to sit behind and hope for a shot, but I don't know if this changes much. I know there's speculation, like I was saying, that it could change a lot, but I still think that the game plan that they originally had is still set in place. I don't think Geno's ever been in the picture.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, I want to pose to the table. I know, Gavin, you already kind of gave your 2 cents about it, but what do you guys think about the prospect of Justin Fields to the Commanders?
Look, so when it comes to Justin Fields, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's an incredibly talented player.
Yeah.
But, in the words of that, what is that, Pitbull, J-Lo, Prince Royce song, Back It Up, he's going to have to back it up next year. That's crazy. Oh my God. I don't see him as a starter in 2024. I just don't. I think he's an incredibly talented player, but I think it's the Sahara Desert out there for him, right? I mean, the only 2 places right now where he could feasibly get a starting job, in my opinion, are the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
He's not a fit in Sean Payton's scheme. And the Raiders have the Bears offensive coordinator from when Justin Fields is a
And
rookie.
they just
and they
went
were
and
like
got Gardner
oil and
Minshew.
water.
Yep.
So I just don't really see a good fit for him starting. But I actually think what might be best for Justin Fields is going to a team. Shout out to Gavin. He came up with this idea. Steven talked about it a little bit yesterday on Sports Out of Pocket. Potentially going to the Jets. That would make a lot of
yeah, you
sense
did
because
say
there's
that.
a lot of uncertainty with Aaron Rodgers now. I'm not sure if you saw the reports, but he might run as
Vice
as
president.
vice president for RFK Jr., which, I mean, obviously RFK is not going to win, but
Oh
it's an
my
interesting
goodness.
prospect. He might, Aaron Rodgers is very
I
unpredictable.
real quick, sorry, I saw this meme whenever that came out, and it was like it was like me when Aaron Rodgers accidentally sets off the nukes because he's on another darkness retreat. And he's,
Oh my God.
It was like he's tripping off
Ayahuasca.
ayahuasca on his darkness retreat and accidentally pressed the nuclear buttons.
But here's the thing, y'all. Talking about, first of all, I want to say congrats to Atlanta Falcons because that was a fleece, okay? Desmond Ritter's a fine quarterback. I know a lot of Falcons fans hate him, but he's pretty talented. I think he's going to be a good backup behind Kyler Murray. If Kyler ever gets hurt, he can make plays with his legs. He fits in that scheme. I get it.
What
But
tape did you
Rondale Moore,
watch? What tape did you watch of Desmond Ridder?
I know, but there were games. Look, I know he struggled, but there were games where the offense has put up 400 yards. That's why I was excited
The first
about Arthur
two,
Smith.
yeah.
Yeah, but he,
Right, those first two
But
games.
he, besides the turnovers, he makes plays with his legs. He can come off the bench and make plays because he did make a few plays last year where he showed a little bit of talent.
Fair.
And I like that behind him. Maybe he can mold a little bit and become a good backup. But getting Rondale Moore is huge.
Great
Getting
athlete.
Kirk Cousins, another weapon, is huge. What I alluded to at the beginning of the segment, you were giving him a treasure chest of weapons. And at number 8, Rome Odunze is not out of the conversation. I think it's going to be Dallas Turner. I think it should be a pass rusher, but there are a lot of good pass rushers in the second round. I know everyone's saying it's a deep wide receiver draft. It is, but it's a very deep edge rusher draft. You could have a Chop Robinson, a Darius Robinson available in the early
Jared
second
Verse.
round. Jared Verse, exactly. Well, Jared Verse is going to go a little earlier than that, but in that second round, the Falcons could trade up a few spots to get their edge rusher. So I love what you guys are cooking. But in terms of Sam Howell, dude, he's underrated. I'm sorry. He's a baller. Yes, 21 touchdowns, 21 picks last year, but his first full season as a starter, almost throwing 4,000 yards.
That was his first full season as a starter.
There were a few weeks he had the most passing yards in the NFL. Yes, I know passing yards can be a volume stat, but he was moving the ball, has a great arm, very athletic. It was his first year as a starter. Everyone says, oh my God, the 21 picks. Guess what? There were years Dan Marino threw over 25 picks. There were years Brett Favre led the league in interceptions. But guess what? They were slinging it. They were winning games. Sam Howell can still develop into something special. I think he's eventually going to beat out Geno Smith this year. I think we're going to see Sam Howell start a few games for the Seattle Seahawks team.
Not a chance.
And I think Mike McDonald coaching the Seattle Seahawks team is going to have them in playoff contention. I love this move. I think Seattle is a great team moving forward. I think the NFC around teams 5, 6, 7 in the playoff seeding is going to get really, really dicey, and they're going to be one of those teams vying for a wild card spot. I love the move.
So then I raised the question here. So far throughout this hectic first couple of days of free agency, who has won free agency so far and who has lost? I mean, I feel like the obvious answer is Dallas losing free agency. I mean, But at this point, who's won free agency? I mean, you've got Baltimore in the running for Derrick Henry. You've got Atlanta signing Kirk and all those new weapons. You've got you got the Jags. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have made a lot of splashes. John, who's won free agency so far?
I would put a lot of thought into it, but just off the top of the head, being a Falcons fan with Kirk Cousins, all these wide receivers we're getting, and who we're signing, I'm gonna have to stick with my Falcons and just pray and hope that this also translates to the season.
Gianna?
I don't know. That's kind of tough because I feel like each team has kind of gotten a little bit of what they've needed, of what they've struggled with this past season and everything. I guess I'll give it to the Falcons, even though I'm not happy about Kirk Cousins.
Look, my Steelers have had a very good free agency so far. The Washington Commanders have had a great free agency so far. The Giants have had a wonderful free agency getting Brian Burns. That's one of the best moves, if not the best move of the entire free agency period, in my opinion. But the Houston Texans right now are my winners of free agency. I mean, they've signed darn near the entire league. Lonnie Johnson Jr., Jeff Okuda, Mike Ford, Azeez Al-Shaair, Tommy Townsend, Deshaun Phillips, Daniel Hunter, David Sharp, getting Joe Mixon via trade. They are putting a treasure chest of talent around this offense, around this defense. CJ Stroud's going to be a perennial MVP candidate going forward. I love the way this team is constructed. I love the way this front office is building. When they had Deshaun Watson, all that drama happened. They look like the biggest clowns in the NFL. Going forward, they might be the youngest, scariest team in this entire league. And I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender next year.
Okay, where do the Eagles rank?
Whew, okay. The Eagles' offseason so far has been awful.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that you pay Saquon Barkley that much money when you could have paid DeAndre Swift half that amount. That's what he took anyway, pretty much half that amount for his contract, and you would have had very similar production. This Saquon Barkley, it's not going to be Saquon Barkley's offense. It's going to be Jalen Hurts' offense, and Saquon Barkley is known to be a power running guy. And that's not how they utilize running backs in Philadelphia. DeAndre Swift was a multifaceted tool player. They put him out wide. They put him in the slot. They had him, go out for passes, then the occasional run play. I'm on a meme kick right now, but another meme I saw whenever Saquon got signed to Philadelphia, it was like Saquon Barkley's going to be so upset when it's Jalen Hurts' 8th touchdown from the tush push this year when he should be running it in.
Yeah.
It's like Saquon runs 84 yards to the 1 yard line, doesn't get another shot at a touchdown. So I think that a lot of the money that they could have spent could have been on defense. They could have went and filled a lot of those defensive holes they had and then re-signed DeAndre Swift to a cheaper contract than what they got Saquon. Maybe the fit wasn't right. But at this point, I'd honestly give Philadelphia's offseason a grade C. Really.
I could agree with that.
Well, they passed.
Honestly, I kind of like their offseason so far. Yes, I know it's tough. They've had some incredible players retire like Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox. However, Bryce Huff, Saquon Barkley,
Too much money.
CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yes, Saquon might be a bit of an overpay, but looking at this division right now, it's almost like the Falcons situation. It's extremely winnable. Dallas going downhill. Commanders have had a great offseason, but they still have an uphill climb. The Giants, who knows what that quarterback situation is going to be. I think they're putting a team around Jalen Hurts to make another run at it because it's the same situation with Atlanta I said last Sports Pack. You're looking at this Falcons team. They might win 11 or 12 games. Maybe they're around a 10 and 17 talent-wise, but you look at the division they play in, you look at their schedule, I see 11 or 12 wins. You look at this Eagles team, you might say, okay, 9 and 8, 10 and 7 talent-wise, but you look at that division crumbling around them. They could easily be an 11 or 12-win team, like what Richard was saying on Monday as well, and get right back into contention. I really like what they've been cooking in Philadelphia so far.
Definitely. And, looking kind of at the losers of the offseason so far, we've got about 3 more minutes left till we go and take a break. But Cincinnati's kind of in a bind right now because Jamar Chase's obviously still there, Joe Burrow's still there, but Joe Mixon traded to the Texans, right? Originally he was going to be cut, so I'm glad they got something for him. I don't remember what they got back for him, but I'm glad they got something for him. T. Higgins requested a trade. Tyler Boyd requested a trade. They're without a solid tight end, so they've got a lot of work to do for the remaining, time in this free agency season. And then that draft's going to be very, very important for them. They're going to have to go get a tight end, maybe Brock Bowers if he's still there. That'd be a great addition. I was talking to one of my friends outside of the show, and I said the Brock Bowers Jamar Chase duo can be compared to the Tyreek Kelsey. I'm not saying that Jamar is as fast or as athletic as Tyreek, but that duo together with Joe Burrow at the helm, you're going to see a lot of shades of the Kelsey Tyreek era in Kansas City. So that'd be a great pickup for them. But they've got a lot of holes to fill. They've got a lot of they got to fix the receiver room a lot. So Cincinnati's definitely going to have to pick it up. I
think another loser that you have to look at in free agency, unfortunately, is the Chargers because they had till yesterday for 4 p.m. to get rid of $80 million in dead cap space. And you cut Mike Williams, you restructured Joey Bosa's contract. You haven't really signed anyone, and you're kind of just losing some players to, free up all this space.
Yeah, Austin Eckler went to the Commanders.
Exactly, Austin Eckler. That's another, frees up more space for him. But that's still not good for the Chargers if they're trying. You bring in Harbaugh, you bring in this whole new coaching staff, and you want to go win with Justin Herbert. You're kind of just set back, just like Denver.
I think it's a trust the process type
I can agree with
situation.
that. But for right now, they're definitely losing it.
Hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to Calvin Ridley getting paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an incredible payday.
It's kind of funny because the Titans got rid of A.J. Brown because of how much money they were going to pay him. Now they're paying an older receiver in Calvin Ridley pretty much the same amount they were going to pay A.J. Brown.
4 years, $92 million.
Woo,
also
ching.
getting Tony Pollard. So this Tennessee team is pretty intriguing to me.
Levis,
I like Will Levis
D-Hop.
a lot. You got D-Hop still there. Like I said, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley coming in. It's going to be a very interesting AFC South race. Now, I know it's not football season, but guess what? This Saturday, your Wolves are playing, baby. And guess what you can do if you're in Carrollton? You can go up to the finest establishment in the city and say, we want them Wolves. We want them Wolves, because there is no better place to watch the Wolves than Jefferson's in Carrollton. With their 20 flat screen TVs, you can kick back and enjoy the full bar with 16 draft beers. Please drink responsibly. Jefferson's is located at 342 Maple Street. Visit their website at jeffersons.com and follow their Instagram at jeffersons_Carrollton. Now, when we get back, it's all hoops. College, pro, you're listening to Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, this is 5-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor, and you're listening to Sports Pack, only on the Wolf Sports Network.
What's going on, chat? Hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you're a common viewer and listener of Sports Pack, you know we take a couple song breaks midway through the show and then a little bit later on in the show. So yeah, just sit back and enjoy this break. If you want, you can head over to Wolf Sports Network, tune into the radio stream, and listen to the music that's playing. And we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
This is your sports director, Brendan Willoughby Ray. And the madness is on Wolf Sports Network.
I done did the impossible. We're talking upsets.
The lob, and that will do it. Do you believe it?
Buzzer beaters.
And everything in between. Keep it tuned to Wolf Sports Network for tournament coverage all month long.
Now, you just heard that incredible promo made by yours truly, Richard Reed and John Halley. You might be going crazy this weekend. You might be going crazy over spring break. You're listening to Carnival. You're watching March Madness. I done did the impossible. But guess what? Shouldn't be possible. You having too much to drink, because college students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week are roughly not 4, not 5, but 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of said drinking. That is why Prender's Ale has joined Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind students like you, and students like you that it's very important to know how to, operate, drink responsibly, all that good stuff. Never drink and drive, even if it's just 1 beer. Add food and water when you drink. Don't end up texting your ex. Trust us, it's a bad idea.
It may not be March, but the madness has already begun.
Up in time, Clark for the win! Yeah! There's a takeaway and a run out the poster. Dante Scott absolutely throttles the rim.
huge conference tournaments have started. It's an incredible time to be a college basketball fan. Now we're looking at the SEC. We're looking at the ACC, the Big 12, the biggest conferences in America. Jackson Schrader, welcome to the show. I'm going to kick this off with you. So obviously a big Florida State fan. Y'all fell today against North Carolina. So I'm going to give you the pick of the litter. What are you looking at this weekend in these conference tournaments?
I don't know, man. I'm just looking for some good games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really intrigued to see how Duke matches up against NC State. I think that's tonight, and to see if we can get like a Duke North Carolina ACC championship game. Is that good now? Yeah. See if we can get like a Duke North Carolina ACC championship game, because I feel like an environment like that would be truly amazing to watch. And then, man, I'm just excited to see the madness unfold. It's like the best part about March is remembering why basketball is such a great sport.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'm a Duke fan. I've said before, I am one. And I think that we will most likely see a Duke-UNC matchup in this ACC tournament, because they're at the top of the ACC. I mean, we have teams like the Virginia Cavaliers, the Pittsburgh Panthers, with the Wake Forest, Clemson, stuff like that. But they're not really to the same caliber that this Duke and UNC team is. So I think they'll definitely come out on top of the ACC.
You know what I'm looking at?
SEC?
You know what I'm really, really, really excited
All right,
for?
okay.
What you got your eyes on, Mr. Ellis?
Them dogs playing them Gators.
No way.
Chomp,
no
chomp,
way.
chomp.
7 o'clock Eastern time. Tonight.
Actually, it's 9:30 Eastern.
Oh, 9:30.
The other
My-
SEC
my
game,
bad.
Ole Miss and Texas A&M, 7 o'clock.
Anyway, 9:30. And, you know, I really want to get this win. And it's not so much to go on and necessarily win the entire tournament. Of course, I'd love that. But it's more so because the winner of this game goes on to play Alabama.
Ooh.
And that's what I'm really excited for.
Because
Because if we can get through
Sweet
Florida,
home Alabama.
we've already gotten through Missouri. If we can get through Florida and we go on to play Alabama, we can ruin their hopes of winning an SEC championship.
Okay, but realistically,
We,
do you think that could happen?
we can roll the tide. We can bark all on over them.
Oh,
And we can ruin their hopes
Bad.
of winning
Bad.
an SEC championship. Because people forget, first half of the regular season, them dogs were on fire. No one could beat us.
First half.
And then the second half happened. It was like watching the Super Bowl except over an entire
Oh,
college
gosh.
basketball season. So yeah, I'm already scarred. It's okay. But if we can get through Florida and go on to beat Alabama and ruin their chances of winning an SEC championship, that'll be enough for me. We can go on and lose we can lose the very next game, and I'd be happy with it. As long as we ruin this dude's happiness when it comes to them in the SEC championship. That's the game I'm most excited for today.
Real quick before you jump into that all about Alabama, I'm glad you mentioned the SEC, because I'm ready to see these Tennessee Volunteers really dominate and show everybody who they are. Because I know people are saying, oh, you can't trust Tennessee, yada, 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 but they've been very dominant this season, and I can't wait to see how they play in this SEC championship, or in the tournament, excuse me.
You know, this Alabama team, I mean, they're hot and they're cold. They're yes and they're no. They're in and they're out.
Thank you,
know.
Katy Perry.
But you still better watch out, because that offense is still elite. Yes, the defense is bad. I get it. They're like some
Bad
matadors
D.
out there, okay? The only thing they're missing is the red cape, okay? But at the end of the day, this team can shoot. This team can score. I think this team can beat anyone when they're hot. But the problem is, we all know college basketball. Like I said at the beginning, they're hot and they're not. That's pretty much every team in the country. I think Florida takes care of Georgia tonight. Closer game than people expect, but I think Florida takes care of them. The last time Bama played Florida, in the words of great Richard Reed, who I hope he's enjoying Panama City right now,
Yeah.
Florida took belt to booty. Now listen, Alabama in recent matchups against Florida has done very well in football, basketball, you name the sport, Alabama's done really well. But this kind of felt like a little vengeance for the Gators. You know, they got their get back. The game before that this season in basketball, Bama won a super close game, 98-93, super exciting, bunch of highlights. Florida was winning, Alabama came storming back. This Florida team's been on a mission. Mike White, former Bulldogs coach, came over to Florida. He has turned this Florida program around. They are back to national relevancy. I think Bama can beat them. I think it'll be another close game. But I'm worried going forward because Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, these teams are... No, Kentucky's hot right now, Gianna.
Kentucky has been so inconsistent. That's not going to fly in the tournament.
It's not going to fly, but I'm telling you what. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And, you know, it really disappoints me that Richard's not sitting in that seat right now. I love you, John Jackson Schrader. I love you, John. I love you, Jackson. I love both of you being on the show. You're incredible. But you know, Richard was doubting the SEC. Big time SEC glazer in football, don't get me wrong, but in basketball, this man said the Big 12's forever better. The Big 12 this. He was, but he didn't turn around enough for me.
Oh,
okay, because the SEC, bingo, Gavin, bingo was his name up, because the SEC is the best conference in college basketball. I think an SEC team will be in the Final Four. No, I'm not going to say who yet. I'm not going to ruin that surprise. You're going to, oh, God, why did you have, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
You were just saying it before the show that Auburn's actually been pretty good, so don't switch it up.
No, they have been. No, Auburn's been great.
Oh,
Auburn's been great.
Auburn's going to win the SEC.
No.
Bama's going to lose and go back to Tuscaloosa where Saban can hear the boo-hoos. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that was actually pretty good. And on that note, Jefferson's and Carrollton, dine in or carry out with online ordering to fit any need. Download their app now for Jefferson's and your belly later. Jefferson's and Carrollton's open Saturday to Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Thursday to Sunday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
The NBA is back. Let's go.
Around the NBA we go. Now, I'm not very happy today.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little upset.
All right,
I know
folks.
why.
You know, about a week ago, I was feeling myself.
Oh.
Feeling myself.
Okay.
Because my Miami Heat were winning games left and right.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler was looking like playoff Jimmy. Terry Rozier was getting that act together, and the Miami Heat were steamrolling. But guess what? We've lost 4 straight games.
That's what
I'm not
I'm
really
saying.
feeling myself right now, especially after last night's pathetic effort, falling 100-88 against the Denver Nuggets, getting outscored in the fourth quarter, 28-17. I'm tired of us him-hawing through the regular season. No, I'm not doubting the great Jimmy Butler.
No.
I'm not doubting my king Eric Spoelstra.
No.
I'm not doubting Bam Adebayo. I see a lot of Heat fans on Twitter doubting Bam Adebayo. I want to show you some tape from the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Okay, you want to talk about the regular season? Well, guess what, buddy? It's not going to matter come April, come May. This Miami Heat team is not going anywhere. I was mad about the Miami Heat, but I'm getting fired up.
Dude.
I'm going to pass the rock to my man Jackson Schrader, my fellow Heat fan. Stand up and tell us why this Miami Heat team can still go to the NBA Finals.
We ain't in the playoffs yet, all right? We need Jimmy Butler the second we get to the playoffs, because that's where we're going to be. Jimmy Butler's going to go crazy. Bam Adebayo's going to go crazy. Duncan Robinson,
literally.
maybe. He's a sharpshooter. Tyler Hero, he's going to be in there too. I'm excited. I think that we'll make it to the playoffs. I think we'll sneak in there. I think we're going to do what we did last year, cause some havoc. But this time, we're going to be holding some hardware.
I think at some point, Heat fans really need to look at this team and wonder why can't they be as good as they are in the playoffs in the regular season? Like, what's not clicking? What's not clicking during the regular season? I'm not understanding.
At some point, you've got to just kind of take a load off and you got to take a load off and hop on the Cancun train early with us Atlanta Hawks fans, because
go on vacation early.
You know, ever since Jimmy said it's about that time on social media, y'all have not done very well. You've lost a lot of games since then. So all this talk about playoff Jimmy, yeah, it's true. Playoff Jimmy's, he's a force to be reckoned with. But at this point, I'm not sure if that's going to hold up, because the problem with this Miami Heat team is the consistency. And that's what we've been talking about all year long. That's what I've been saying since the very beginning. Before the season even really got into full swing, I said the key to Miami having a good season is to remain consistent, because too many times we see Jimmy go cold or he'll get hurt. Hero will have a good stretch of 5 games where he's looking like an all-star. Then you don't really see him.
Well, he is injured right now.
I'm just saying, he either gets injured or he's not playing very well.
Yeah.
Bam gives you a consistently good night. He's probably the most consistent player on the Heat, in my opinion.
He is.
Getting Terry Rozier was a great pickup. It was what you needed, really. You needed a flat-out scorer, and you got him. But even he's been off. So the issue with this Miami Heat team is, can you stay consistent in the playoffs when you get there? Because you'll get there. There's no doubt about that. You'll get in. You'll be fine. But in a 5-game series, in a 7-game series, do you have the consistency that's needed to go out and win a championship? Because a lot of other teams do, like the Nuggets, which you just got smacked by.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with the Heat here.
Yeah, and at some point, this whole, we don't have to worry about the regular season. We'll get in the postseason. Don't worry. Sooner or later, that's not going to happen.
I mean, if you carry over that that regular season, slump into the postseason, you're done with.
Right, you're done. So at some point, it's not going to work. But there was one other game I wanted to bring up.
Oh, gosh.
Those Timberwolves. What do you mean, oh, gosh?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Hawks.
No, I just kind of resigned myself to be like, you know what? It's whatever. We have so many injuries. It's like, what are we even doing? But that's beside the point. That Clippers-Timberwolves game on Tuesday was so good to watch. The Timberwolves, they were down by like 21 points, like halfway through the second quarter. But then Anthony Edwards just turned it on, took control, and the Timberwolves got the win. It was like, what was the score? 118 to 100. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, Kawhi Leonard went out with an injury in between the first and second quarter, but still, this Timberwolves team has been dominant. I know they've kind of been struggling since Cat went out with that meniscus injury, but they've been able to kind of keep it up without him. They've been really impressive. Thoughts?
Oh God, Brennan's huffing and puffing.
I mean, look, man.
He's the big bad wolf.
I'm hype. I'm thinking about a potential Western Conference final that will really showcase the old guard versus the young Bucks, right? Because right now we're looking at the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets, and I'm looking at the number 4 seed Clippers. They'll play in the second round likely. I think that's how the seeding's going to stick. I know there's a lot of games left, but I can see the Nuggets riding out the number 1 seed, them getting the 4 seed, having that second round clash. And then the other Western Conference second round clash, we would have the Thunder and we would have the Timberwolves. The two youngest, most dynamic teams in the league, which could set up that true old guard versus young Bucks series to determine which way the NBA is moving. If a guy like Anthony Edwards, if a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is taking over the league, or if a guy like Jokic, if a guy like Kawhi says, listen here, young man, I still run these streets. I can't wait to see it.
Streets
I'm hyped.
Streets is crazy.
Are y'all hyped?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm ready for it. We just got to get through the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, I think it would be exciting. But I am a little nervous about this Clippers team because Kawhi isn't traveling with them. And Russell is also out with some kind of injury.
So begins.
And honestly, so begins. Yeah. That was our main thing about the Clippers. If they stayed healthy, they'd be dominant. But
yeah. Real quick, before we move on, this Hawks team is just, we're at a point where I'm already on a baseball season. I'm done with it. It happens every year, and there's so many fundamental issues that we talk about every show. But when your second best player that you got to win games when Trey's out, DeJounte Murray, when he scores 40 points and you can't win a game,
you didn't hang it up.
You got to restructure, like I've been saying. So anyway,
but I mean, right now it's because we have like so many guys injured. That's the only reason I'm trying to give us the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you got Trey out, you got Sadiq is out.
He's bad. Anyway.
Oh my God, Gavin, are you even a Hawks fan?
I don't know
dude.
I've been telling Hawks fans for the last few months, if you want to have a championship parade down them streets of Atlanta,
why are you whispering?
You need to tell LeBron James Jr., Bronny, say, hey man, enter the draft. Come on, enter the draft.
He's not.
You draft Bronny.
There's
you sign LeBron.
There's no way
you sign Paul George.
There's no way we
and
get
look at this
high
Atlanta
enough.
Hawks team with LeBron, with Paul George, with Trae Young, and Bronny off the bench. I'm thinking NBA championship, baby. Bronny not that good, but guess what? He's athletic. He can play a little defense.
There's no way we're getting a high enough seed in the draft to get Bronny. Let's be so for real.
Well, I don't think he's good enough to go in the top 10,
the whisper's
top 15.
insane.
So,
the whispering
you know
is insane.
what? So you can actually probably trade back. So you get like the 10, 12 pick. You can probably trade back, get Bronny.
We've heard that argument before.
Get the championship to Atlanta. Now, binge drinking is consuming 5 drinks or more on occasion for males and 4 drinks or more for females. Yikes. However, some college students drink at least twice that amount. Wow. That is why Printer's Ale has joined Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's Drink Responsibly campaign to make sure all of our wolves stay safe when drinking. Never drink under the age 21 and always have a designated driver. Oh, and throw in some good food. How about some Jefferson's Wings? Visit printers-ale.com to learn more. Now, we're taking a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to take it or leave it, keep it to the Wolf Sports Network.
This is Super Bowl champion quarterback Brad Johnson, and you're listening to Sports Pack on the Wolf Sports Network.
What's going on, chat? I hope you enjoyed that kind of hectic, wild stretch of basketball talk there. We're entering our last break before we get to our last segment. The brand new segment still, Take It or Leave It. We've heard a lot of great things, a lot of good feedback from our first run at it, so we're going to go for it again. So make sure you tune in. Stay tuned in here on YouTube or go over to Wolf Sports Network and listen to some new music that we're playing. It's a very special song from an artist that just dropped a new album. She's global. Can't really say it because media law, but that's besides the point. Head over to Wolf Sports Network, listen to some music, or stay here, hang out with us, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Man, I don't know any hot new dances.
Hey, you're in luck. Put your right hand out, put your left hand out. You clench both fists and let out a howl. Now listen, boys and girls, let those knees rock. This is how you do the wolf stock. Wolf stock, wolf stock. Wolf Stock is coming Thursday, April 4, 2024 from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom, brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, American Pie Pizzeria, Osier Apparel, and Illuminated Productions. Now you just heard what is coming down the pipeline. Wolfstock 2024 coming Thursday, April 4th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom, brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, American Pie Pizzeria, Illuminated Productions, and Osier Apparel. You're not going to want to miss performances by Dark Souls Thug, Jay Pruitt, Kamal Saucier, Caller, Lumina, and XO. Also, some really fun games. Wolf Sports Network in its entirety is going to be there. You're not going to want to miss out on the concert event of the year, Wolfstock.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
For this edition of Take It or Leave It, we're asking one simple question. Gianna had to run for a second. We got Mr. John Halley.
Yo.
We got Mr. Gavin Ellis.
What it do?
And you got your sports director, Brandon Willoughby Ray. Now,
Dog.
my team is none other. Oh, there's Gianna. Gianna, sit down for this. Now,
Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling. I'm just excited.
You're yelling.
Now, my team It's the 6-time Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, from like 30 years ago.
Hey, maybe it went in 2009, but that's neither here nor there. Now,
Dude, I was 5 years old.
I was 7.
Okay, anyways, John, Gianna, and Gavin are fans of your hometown Atlanta Falcons. Now we're asking a very, 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 very simple question. Take it or leave it. One of our teams will be in the Super Bowl next season.
Go ahead, Gianna.
Gianna says leave it.
Gianna says leave it.
I know the Falcons aren't getting to the Super Bowl. I'm being so for real. I know we're not making it to the Super Bowl, y'all. Maybe we'll actually make it to the playoffs, but the Super Bowl.
What about the Steelers?
Oh.
All of their off-season additions.
But the AFC's loaded. I mean,
Right.
Chiefs, Ravens.
Oh yeah, you can't knock out the
Bills.
Chiefs. You can't knock out the Chiefs. Yeah, sorry, no, Brendan.
Mr. John.
I mean, I just want the Falcons to make the playoffs this
Right.
year. That's as much as I want because we bring in all this. Then if we do good in the playoffs, maybe then we talk Super Bowl next year. And for your Steelers, Brendan, I mean, y'all got some tough competition. Mahomes proved me wrong all this year. I'm sorry, Russ. I'm sorry, Baby Hands Pickett. You're gonna sit there on the bench.
Baby Hands
I mean,
Pickett.
I'm gonna have to leave it. But it seems like Mr. Ellis has a little something for us
He has
here.
something to say.
I'm going to leave it
Okay. Well.
to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
And I'm going to take it
You're lying.
to the Atlanta breath control Falcons. In the short time that we've been off air, only a day, and we're back again for Thursday's Sports Pack. I took some time to reflect. I went and watched. I went and watched and listened to Monday's episode, and I was kind of embarrassed. I threw the sunglasses. I took the chains off. And I wasn't happy about Kirk, but I've done some reflecting. I've done some thinking, and I sit here and I think to myself, wait a minute. So many times we see athletes come back from injury, and they are better than they were before. And now I'm hopping on the Kirk Cousins train. I'm doing it. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
Did you go on like a
Kirk Cousins is going to lead.
Just don't run for vice president,
He's
buddy.
going to lead these Atlanta Falcons to at least 10 or 11 wins. I'm hopping on the train, Brendan. He's going to win us the NFC South. We're going to get into the playoffs. We're going to keep on winning, keep on winning, keep on winning. We're going to get to the Super Bowl thanks to Mr. Kirko Chains, Kirko Frost, ATL Kirko.
ATO Kirko.
And then we're going to lose the Super Bowl.
Yo.
Oh, come on.
Because the AFC's too good. But he's going to get us there. I'm taking it. I'm leaving your stupid Steelers. Every single freaking team in Pittsburgh has the same colors. I'm sick of it, brother.
I'm sick of it, brother.
The Atlanta Falcons will be in the Super Bowl next year. Mark it. Mark my words. I'm taking Kirk Cousins. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Wait, I don't even know anymore.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
Take a breath.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll serenade this episode home.
No.
Now listen.
Serenade us home.
I'm taking it.
For
who?
For the Atlanta Falcons.
Whoa!
Yo.
I look at this team
Yo.
with a first-year coach in Raheem Morris, with a first-year coordinator, offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson, as two guys going into a team, right? They're coming in as leaders. They're coming in strong. Why? They learned from the absolute best. They come from the Rams coaching tree. They come from one Sean McVay's coaching tree. What did the Rams so famously do? With one quarterback, with ties to the state.
Oh my gosh.
They brought him in from a losing franchise.
I'm with you.
From the NFC North.
I'm with
they
you.
They brought in Matthew Stafford, and they went to the Super Bowl, and they won that Super Bowl. Guess what this Atlanta Falcons team can do with all these weapons, with a really good defense, with a great offensive line to protect Kirk Cousins? They're going to bring him to the Super Bowl. Now, I was low on Raheem Morris at first, but then they brought in Zach Robinson. But then they brought in a superstar in Kirk Cousins, who's going to remind the world, remind every single hater out there, a lot of them in the city of Atlanta, that guess what? He can ball. He can get it done. He is a superstar.
Now,
they're going to get to the Super Bowl.
What about your Steelers?
Because I'm taking it.
What about the Steelers?
For the Falcons.
Okay, what about the Steelers?
But they're going to lose the Super Bowl Because I'm also taking it for
they're
my
not.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, they're
I
not.
trust Russ.
Okay,
We
never mind.
trust Russ.
No,
You almost changed my
It
mind,
might seem
Brendan.
crazy, but we have made big time moves this free agency.
there's no way both of our teams are
We
making
just
it.
went 10
Be
and
for
7.
real.
We just went 10 and 7 with Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett.
Baby
We're
hands.
bringing in Russell Wilson. Yes, I know a lot of people criticizing him. The 50 QBR last year didn't look that great. But while Russell was playing, he was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the red zone. This run game led by new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith will get that offense into
Arthur
the red zone.
You say
What
that
was the biggest
confidently?
problem the Falcons had? They moved the ball well. They got between the 20s. They could not score efficiently. That was the Falcons' biggest
No,
problem
it's just
last
Arthur
year.
Smith. Just he just couldn't find
He
didn't
had
find our
bad
players
play
sitting on
calling.
the side. You know, bad play calling.
Here's the thing. The Falcons was a learning experience for him. Arthur Smith's going to revert to his Tennessee form where he was one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins will face off in Super Bowl 59. You can bet it. You can book it. I know it's a long shot. I know the odds seem
The
long, but guess what? You
longest
can
shot.
go to Vegas right now. You can make a boatload of money. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not Miles Williams, but guess what, baby? I'm telling
Shout
you
out
right now,
Miles.
if you got about $5, $10, go ahead and place a little bet on them Falcons and them Steelers because these two teams are going to put the world on notice. Just like I'm about to put the world on notice to follow Dine West on Instagram at UWG_West to keep up on dining hall hours and retail hours. Never get caught missing good food or closings when you're hungry. Now, I still got a few more minutes left.
No, you too.
But I want to turn this back to y'all for just 1 second. What do y'all think about the prospect of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons potentially facing off in Super Bowl 59, the Sports Pack Bowl?
I think I'm buying tickets and I'm flying. Where is it? NOLA? New Orleans?
NOLA,
I think I'm
baby.
buying tickets and I'm flying down and I'm going to watch them Dirty Birds take down them Steel Boys.
Steel Boys.
The Steel Boys.
There is like
Steelers
a
country, let's
slim-
weld.
Was well.
There's a slim chance that both of our teams would actually make it to the Super Bowl. I'm leaving that.
Brendan, you almost earlier had me changing my leave it for the Falcons to a take it. And but guess what? I'm taking it, baby. Falcons going to the Super Bowl. Guess what? Pittsburgh, you're not though, okay? You know what? Falcons, I'm hyped for this. I've been wanting this. This is a quarterback we need. Desmond Ritter, gone, baby, gone. We got Kirk Cousins, Kirk James, man. Get us to the Super Bowl, please. I want a Super Bowl, please. Taking it, baby.
All I'm saying is you're going to have two quarterbacks, 135, 136. The league's looking at him. Russ, Kirk, you can't do this anymore. They're going to remind the world that they're still great quarterbacks. We're going to see Raheem Morris and Mike Tomlin Super Bowl. Falcons, Steelers, Super Bowl 59. I'm booking my flight to New Orleans. And with all that being said, this is all the time we have tonight for Sports Pack. Now, next week, I hate to say it, we're on break. So you're going to miss Tiana. You're going to miss Carly. You're going to miss Gavin. You're going to miss Richard. You're going to miss your sports director, Brendan Willoughby Ray, dropping these hot takes. But guess what? Take a breath. We're going to be super active on Wolf Sports Network. Follow our Instagram. Keep it tuned to YouTube. We're going to be coming with content. And when we come back that first Monday, oh man, Katie locked them doors. We're going crazy. This is Wolf Sports Network, and this was Sports Pack.
You are now listening to WSN Wolf